Hello, happy Wednesday. This is take 2 for our live stream today. Ready to learn the 2 things I did to create 58.8K in sales in 3 months. That's the title. I did this whole live stream at 12 o'clock, which is when I normally go live, and it was gone, nowhere to be found. So before I go any more in this conversation, I'm going to pull it up in the group, make sure that I'm actually going live, because that was the problem last time. I couldn't find it in the group, but I was like, oh, it's probably fine. Okay, here I am. It's like, oh, it's probably fine. Nothing like this has ever happened before. I don't see it in the group, but it'll be fine. Well, that was not the case. I talked for 42 minutes and it was gone. So let's dive in. We're doing this again. I thought I had to go pick up a kid at 2, and then I re-looked at the time and I don't. Like, this week is crazy. Like, there's the hurricane stuff, so like pretty much everything has been canceled, but one of my daughter's things did just get moved around to different times, so I'm just like flying by the seat of my pants with figuring out kid stuff. But we're going to dive in. I definitely am really excited to share this conversation, because I think with this type of title, when someone is talking about making 58K in sales, people are like, she's full of shit, or she's a liar, or I could never do that, or whatever else comes up, especially when it comes to women talking about money, like she's bragging or whatever. And so this is why I am such an advocate for talking about money, because if I'm not talking about it, I mean, the dog, everything is just crazy this week. If I'm not talking about money, who is? So before we dive in, I know we've had a lot of new members in the group join in the past month. Yay, welcome. I was gone the entire month of July. Took my 3 girls to the North Carolina mountains. Like, it's something we do every year. We're just off the grid, like totally just in the middle of nowhere. And it's amazing, but it's so fun to be back and kind of be back on a regular schedule. But the hurricane throws all of that off. But we have power. We've got all of that, so we're good. But if you are new, welcome. My name is Jordan Ilderton. I have had my business for 8.5 years now. I started as a $35 an hour bookkeeper and have now pivoted to high ticket services and made $239K cash last year. And so that is why I'm such an advocate for promoting your 6-figure switch. So I will drop the link below after this, but it's my free training. I walk you through the pivotal shifts you need to make if you're going to go from $35 an hour or whatever your hourly rate is to offering a VIP high ticket offer that you can charge $500, $1,000, $1,500, $3,000. Like, I have clients with $3,000 VIP offers that people are emailing them asking to sign up. Like, so this just really can be your reality, and it's something that I just really want to be a proponent for. So I'll drop link below. You can sign up for that. Everything is like sent to you in your inbox. It's a playbook, it's a live stream, all the journal prompts, everything, so that you can make your 6-figure switch. Because literally the reason I'm talking about being able to make 58.8K in 3 months is because I offer a high ticket service. Like, we're going to dive into the 2 things I did, but it needs to be said that if I didn't offer a high ticket, this would not be a conversation we are having. So getting your hands on that 6-figure switch training is the first piece, and really like needs to set up and be, kind of the preface for this whole conversation. But I am back from vacation. We're kind of rocking and rolling. So let's jump in. I always want to give context for this, because this is the kind of results that is so easy to share in a 7-second reel or in a post, but you don't get all the context behind it. So I'm going to talk about that. So the 58.8K is sales. It is revenue. It is not cash. So I am a bookkeeper. That is my background. So it's like the difference between accrual versus cash. So it is sales. That means over the next 6 months, my clients are paying me that much in cash. My clients typically don't pay me in full. I don't even really want them to pay me in full. I don't incentivize that. They're paying me a monthly rate plus the base rate. So that will be cash over the 6 months together. So that is really important to say, and just want to like bring that here. I've also been showing up for at least 3 years. I go live in this group. I post content in this group and in other groups and in Instagram, and we have master classes. We used to have them every month, but now we have them every quarter. So you can like land on my stuff, binge all of my stuff, and be ready to work with me. Like, because I've just been showing up for years. So that's also another piece and another behind the scenes and context that I also want to give. It doesn't mean you can't just create 58K off the bat, but like me showing up for years is part of the conversation we are going to have today. So, I'm always building relationships. I've been building relationships. So at any point in time, people are popping up ready to buy. And that's just like something that needs to be said off the bat too. So want to bring context. If you join live today, I know this is not the regular time. Usually we're Wednesday at noon p.m. Eastern time. So if you happen to just catch this live or you're catching the replay, ask your questions, leave your comments. I'm giving away a 6-figure switch coaching session. So this is my 45-minute regular coaching session that my clients pay really good money for. And so on this call, we can really get clear on what you need. Because I was just talking to a business owner today and she's like, I am so overwhelmed. Like somebody says to do this and this person says to do this and this person says, here's the exact email sequence. And this person says, use these reel hooks. And like, there's so much noise out there, but we'll have a coaching session to really help you get clear on what your business needs right now. And like, that's not something you can Google. That's not something you can look up on ChatGPT. Like having a conversation with someone, I study business. Hi, Stephanie, it's telling me you're joining. Thanks for being here. I study business all day long in my own business with my clients behind the scenes. So this is something I'm working on all the time. So Stephanie, say hi, leave your questions, comments. But on Friday, we'll announce the winner for the 6-figure switch coaching session so that you get that one-to-one support that my clients normally are paying for, but you'll have me in your back pocket for 45 minutes to really figure out what your business needs from you so that you can go and do that. And you can ignore all the noise online. You can ignore, all these things that people are trying to confuse you and sell you, and just have that 45 minutes of like one-to-one support to actually know what your business needs. So let's dive in. I'm not going to go into that anymore. But I'm telling you today 2 things that helped book, or the reason that I booked 58.8K. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here. Yay. It all kind of worked out with the, I don't know what happened at 12 o'clock when I talked for 42 minutes, but apparently that was not meant to be. So y'all are getting the replay where I've already done this. So I kind of can flow through this probably better without stumbling over my words. So y'all be sure to ask your questions. I'm so glad y'all are here because this is a really juicy conversation and it's so fucking simple. Like it's one of those things, like as I was talking about at the beginning, like people think this can't be them, but like, yes, I'm unique, but I'm not special. I'm not a unicorn. I have 3 kids. Like I'm not working around the clock. Like this is just literally stuff that you can do today. So that's what we're going to dive into and talk about. But it's 2 things. The first one's pretty simple. And then the second one, I have a few little sub accounts underneath that we're going to drill down and talk about. So be sure to let me know your questions. Lisa, hi. Thanks so much for jumping on. So the first part of this creating 58.8K in 3 months and how you can do it too, the number one thing is to serve your people really well so they continue to buy from you. Half of this revenue was from returning clients. It was people who have renewed with me over and over and over for a long time. And this just is so something that everyone wants it to be something else. And I know people might be watching this like rolling their eyes so hard right now, like Jordan, really? But like, this is the thing that people just take for granted or they just don't think about. And it's like, if you have an offer, even if it's like you have a main, like you're a web designer and you have like your big web design services, you can still create something so that people are buying from you over and over and over again so that you can keep getting paid from the people who already know, like, and trust you. They already love your work. They've already seen, the results from it. Like, this is just so powerful. And like, no amount of marketing can make up for you just supporting your people really well, getting them results, having them renew with you, and having them sing your praises. I was on a call with a client yesterday, and we were going through like, okay, where have your last like 20 clients come from? She's someone I've worked with for years, and we've got traffic dashboards, and I know like this many people from Instagram stories came, and this came from this, and her YouTube's like blowing up, even though she's not doing anything with it. But she's like, all these people, like half of them came from referrals. And I was like, that is just so powerful. Like, she could go pay this YouTube guy. This is my dog is just, she's getting stir crazy with all the rain here. But she could go pay the YouTube guy to help her blow up her YouTube account, which is already doing great. It's already working. But it was just so amazing to see that so many referrals, like so many clients were coming from referrals. So please, this is a simple one. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it, but do not discount this in your business. Like I said, half of this 58.8K, half of it was from returning clients and half of it was from new people. And yes, it's exciting to get new clients and it feels good and we feel like a high. And I even have clients who don't count their renewing clients like it's a celebration. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, of course this is something to celebrate. Like, but for them, their brain wants to just be like, no, it doesn't really count because they're already a client. It doesn't matter. It's like, that definitely counts. The IRS counts that as revenue. So like, do not discount that. So please remember, serving your people really well is just like, you can do that today. Like, that is something you can do right now. And if you don't have any clients, you can do that to your audience for free. Like, and that's what I try to do. Even if someone isn't paying me, I'm trying to show up here. I want to show, not trying, but I am showing up. I am providing so much value in these live streams and master classes that, you know, is as good as some paid stuff. And that's the goal. So even if you don't have clients, think about how you're showing up, giving that value to your people now, no matter what. So that's the simple one. I'm not going to like harp on that too much. Just checking for any comments. So the other piece is really kind of what I touched around in the beginning, around like, I've been showing up for years, I've been doing this for years, and it's that difference around momentum versus consistency. So I know over the past few years, the industry has changed, the economy has changed, like the online space isn't 2020, 2021, 2022, and during that time, I heard from so many mentors, I heard, you know, just, and I even had a free call around consistency. Consistency was the thing. Like, if you stay consistent enough and you stay in it enough, you'll have that pop moment. And that's not the case. Like, yes, consistency does equal momentum, but you can have consistency without momentum. So I want to define those. So the definition of consistency is like basically the conformity and the application of something. Momentum is the strength or the force gained by motion or a series of events. So if we're thinking about the two different things, like consistency is doing something with regularity and with reliability and taking consistent actions. And that's the reason I was able to take a month of July off, is because I have all that stuff built up in my business. I have those systems and processes set up. But we're really thinking about, like, consistency is focusing on maintaining effort, maintaining performance, routines, habits, and momentum is the thing that can come from that. So it's about the results, the progress, like, you know, the energy and the speed gained from those actions. So really, when we talk about consistency and momentum, this is the thing that, like, booking 58.8K in 3 months it came from momentum. Like, it came from me showing up like this. It came from me serving my audience day after day, connecting, building relationships, and that momentum turned into something. So, you know, like I said, a few years ago, we were taught, if you just stay in it long enough, you'll have that pop moment. And that's just not the case. So we're going to drill down on momentum a little bit in 3 different ways so that you can create momentum, not just consistency, where you're just doing the same thing over and over and over, but nothing's happening, but we're actually using that consistency to create the results. Because yes, we need consistency. Like, I am all about that 1,000%, but like, consistency alone isn't what creates the momentum that builds these kind of results. So, you know, we were taught, like, if you just put your time in, you'll just have that pop moment. And so just talking about, like, that's not where we are today in the online space. That is not 2023. That is not 2024. It's really what we're going to talk about, building momentum with these 3 things. So let me know if I'm losing you. I know I've got like sub accounts, but we'll keep this pretty simple. So building momentum, first thing is, I've been doing this stuff for 3 years consistently. Like, so that is the piece of consistency that does help. So just keep doing it. Like, know that, like, momentum, like, part of that is just taking the time and letting something play out. And it's almost like sitting on your hands sometimes, like creating, like, I've had the same offers for 3 years. I've had a free call. I've had master classes. I've had my intensive. I've had my one-to-one. None of those have, like, those have all fundamentally been the same, but I've tweaked my free call. I was just talking to someone about this a few minutes ago. It's been like 3 or 4 different titles. So, like, I kept the free call the same, but every time, you know, I was on these free calls, I was writing down data. I was writing down what we talked about. It was like, okay, I thought this was the thing the free call needed to be about, but now I'm seeing I need to kind of take it in this direction based on these calls, based on what people are telling me. Like, I can do my best guess, and then I have to use like the data and the conversations and the relationships I'm building, take that feedback and like use it into something. So it's like, yes, doing it over, yes, letting it build, and just seeing that like you can tweak it along the way without throwing out everything. So that's the second thing, is really taking what's working and doing more of that. So this is the kind of difference between consistency and momentum for me. Like, momentum is taking each nugget and like really like double clicking on it and going deep. And it does take more time. And that's the thing, like, it isn't the sexy thing. Like, to go back or have your VA go into your Instagram insights, go look at your promo post, see what performed, what did people comment on, what did people click, like, look at all of that data, or go into your emails, like, where did people click, which emails performed the best. Going into, what else was there? There was one other thing I was thinking about. Oh, Facebook posts, like, which posts are people responding to? One of my clients, we were on a call, and she's doing a launch for like the 4th time, and each time she's done this launch, it's built and built and built. So the other day she's like, okay, normally I promote it with this webinar, but I'm thinking of doing a private podcast. And I was just like, I love you, but when are you going to do a private podcast? Like, when do you have the time for that? She has a kid. Her kid's home because sailing camp is obviously canceled because of the hurricane. But like, when are you going to do that? The webinar works. Like, let's keep going into that. Go back into your email sequence for this whole thing. Like, which emails really worked? Let's pull that messaging. I'll even say, like, pull up a Word document, like copy and paste. Like, okay, this email did really well. This got a lot of clicks. This got like opens, or this Facebook post like blew up in this group. Let me copy and paste that into a document. Like, look at your Instagram stuff. Like, okay, people commented on this. People went to my profile from this. People started following me from this. Like, it takes time, but it's so worth it. Like, you need to slow down and look at that. Like, my client, she is no different than anyone else. It's like, ooh, private podcast, that seems new, that seems fun. And I'm like, that's going to be so much more work for you when we just keep like finding the nuggets that worked and keep doing that. Like, my free call, I kept the free call the same, but I was just taking my conversations and taking the feedback from people and being like, okay, cool. I thought we needed to talk about strategic planning, but actually people need this. Actually, people want this. And just like really narrow it down. Even if you're not like niching down your messaging like a ton and getting like super specific, you're still niching down with what people are telling you and the feedback you're getting, because this is just like the juiciest stuff. Like, you don't have to sit there and wonder like, I have no idea, I'm going to change a million things, but like I have 3 kids. I'm all about taking one funnel to multi-6 figures because I don't have time to like waste doing other stuff. So this part, and I'm really drilling in on this so much because it's the one that people don't want to do. Like, there are clues, like asking your people, what prompted you to get on this call? Like, yes, you can have it in your pre-booking form, or, you know, just asking people like how they found you, or why they booked a call with you, or why, you know, they watched your webinar. Like, just getting that information. So you're like, oh, I had no idea. Like, I thought it was because of this, but they said it was this. So using that information is just so powerful. And like I said, keeping it in a Word document, that's what I do. It's just super simple, but you're finding the patterns. Like, I love one of my friends is what is she, a pathologist? They look in the microscope and look at cells, and she loves puzzles because she's like, I'm just looking at patterns. I'm looking at patterns all day long. And I was like, yes, like, as business owners, that's what we're doing. We are looking for patterns. It's like a puzzle. We're putting the puzzle pieces together. Like, we're just organizing everything. Like, cool, this worked. This didn't work. And you could sit there and look at why it didn't work, but you can also just look at what worked. Be like, okay, I know this worked, so let me go do more of that. Ooh, okay, this person gave me this feedback, which I had never heard before, so let me use that. Let me play with that. So this is kind of what we're always doing. Like, the money is in the details. It's not starting a new strategy. It's not starting, you know, if you want to do the private podcast, go for it. But like, it's really like the money's in the details. Not the devil's in the details, the money's in the details. But so many people just aren't willing to do that. That's why I'm building traffic dashboards for my clients. We're following the breadcrumbs. We're getting super granular, looking at insights. And so that's what I did, like bringing it back to these results, the 58.8K. was really over the past 6 months looking at my messaging and really drilling that down even more. Like I said, I went from monthly masterclasses to quarterly masterclasses so that I could spend so much more time on that one. So like my 6-figure switch freebie, it is so robust. I spent way more time on it than I've spent on any other masterclass, and it shows. And I've gotten people with so like great results from it because I put more into it and I really used the nuggets that what people wanted, what people were telling me, what people were struggling with, and like put it in there and put that in my messaging. So that is like really part of like those new clients coming in that have booked and, you know, signed up with me. I need to take a breath. Okay, no questions. So let's pull up the third and final piece of the momentum piece. The third piece of building momentum that feels super important to talk about is just realizing I'm not owed anything. I'm not owed shit. And I know a lot of business owners can go online and they're like, I'm providing all this value, I'm giving away this, or I'm doing this. And like, I know they're not trying to be jerks. Like, but our brains just start being like, I'm giving so much and I'm not getting something in return and I'm getting resentful. Like I have the wrong audience, they suck. Like that is not the mindset or the place to be creating content and showing up for your audience. So if I take the standpoint that like, nobody owes me shit, then like I am willing to build real relationships. And that's kind of the main thing that this comes back to. Well, the first piece is it also goes back to what I was talking to earlier about why my clients renew with me over and over, because I am not taking them for granted. I'm not sitting there like, well, of course they'll just renew with me. I don't even have to show up. Like they're already getting results. It's like nobody owes me shit. Like I go all in on my clients who have been with me for 3 years just as much as I do with someone who's been with me for a day or 3 months. And it's almost like gets even better and gets even deeper for someone who's been with me for 3 years because I know them so well. I know their business so well. Like we have been around this. We've talked about this. Like I know their habits. And like the client that wants to start the private podcast, I'm like, I can see that a mile away. Like that is her tendency. That's what she wants to do. Like that was part of it when we started together. Like she stopped her podcast, you know, like I just see these things from working with them. And so it's like, no one owes me shit because I'm still showing up 3 years in just as much as I did day one. And so that's really important to say is with your clients is like, you are not taking anything for granted. Like, yes, I can guess that a lot of these clients will renew, but I'm not assuming anything. I am going all in, working with them and supporting them just as much as I would anyone else. So no one owes me shit. The other piece of it is like, I don't expect the algorithm to hand me something. I don't expect what someone else did to work for me. I don't expect, what worked a few years ago should work for me now, or I never had to do that. Like, it's really just taking this mentality that like, I'm just willing to do what needs to be done because nobody owes me shit. No platform owes me shit. Like I show up and build true relationships. And I know that has kind of been a thing with the online space of like, not wanting to get on the phone with someone or not DMing people, or I shouldn't have to email them. Like one of my clients has like a freebie and, you know, they can see who clicked but didn't sign up. And it's like, well, you can just be the person who's willing to offer them a call. Like just be willing to say, hey, I saw you did this. I hope you got a ton of value. I'd love to give you a free call and like give you some one-to-one support. Like just be willing to be that person. And that's me. Like I am willing to be that person. I go through like for people who sign up for my free 6-figure switch, I'll go through like every month and be like, hey, pick one person. You signed up for this month. Thank you. Like, I would love to like offer you a free call. Like, just be that person that's like, well, they signed up for that. So obviously they should just click the link to buy my next thing. Like, yes, I'm down for that. I love that. But it's not this mentality that like, well, they signed up for my freebie, so of course they need to do this. Like, it's none of that vibe. It's very like, how can I support you? What can I do to deepen the relationship? Like, yes, you signed up for the freebie, but I don't expect you to just hire me for a week or 6 months based on an email. Like, I'm down for it. People have done it, but like, I know, especially in this climate, like people just want that real relationship. They don't want, a service provider who's like holier than thou, or that you have to put on a pedestal and you have to go through their VA to even like get anything from them. It's like, I have boundaries, but I'm still very accessible. Like, I want to be accessible. I want to show up in, the DMs. Like, I used to have a VA engage for me in there. And I'm just like, I just want to do that. Like, I want to see who's following me. I want to follow people and like really genuinely be like, hey, this is my person on my client wish list. Like, let me follow them. Let me engage with them. Let me like build and nurture this relationship. So that is so much a part of the building momentum, is that like, I just see everything as like a nurturing relationship opportunity. And it's not just like, well, I have an email automation for that and they can just buy from that. Like, yes, we have it set up and we can still be totally available for like actually building the relationship. So think I've gone on all those enough. Let me know if y'all have questions. Let me know. Oh, thank you, Lisa. So many amazing nuggets in here. Thank you. Thank you. It's so fun to be back. Like, I have not done a live stream. It's like, of course, I haven't done a live stream in a month. And the first one I go to do just disappears into the Facebook. Like, who knows? But here we are. We're back. And that was probably better than the first one anyway. So let's just back up a little bit. So, creating the two things you can do to create these results is to serve your people really well, even if they aren't paying you. Serve the shit out of them, because no amount of marketing is going to make up for you serving your people really well. And the second piece is not just being consistent, but building momentum. And you can do that starting now, like right now. So starting now, you can have a strategy that you let play out, and you kind of sit on your hands with some pieces of it, and you collect the data and test and tweak to see what works. But it's not like go into different, 8 different Facebook groups and just spray everywhere. And then, it's like with my clients, I'm like, okay, let's do 4. We're going to use the UTMs to see which ones are working for us. And then in 3 months, we'll reassess and see how they're doing. So it's very much like, yes, being consistent, but also being willing to like make the tweaks within that. Which goes into the point 2 of really taking what works, doing more of that, letting yourself make it simple, let yourself make it easy. Like, yes, we have 100 ideas. We are entrepreneurs. We are creatives. Like, we want to create and put stuff out there. And it's like, let's get creative within these frameworks that we already have. Like, the money is in these frameworks we've already set up. We don't need to go like recreate the wheel or like, and obviously there are different times where we are maybe doing some like pivotal shifts, but typically we want to like let things work for us that we've already set up. So it's finding the nuggets, tracking those, whether you're doing UTMs or you just have a simple Word document of like when people comment, when people do this, when people book a call. I'm just copying and pasting this into a document so that I can find the pattern so that I can do more of that. And then like realizing no one owes you shit. Like, you can show up online, you can provide a ton of value, send your emails, do your posts, but like be willing to be that person that's going to like sit with someone, that's going to offer them a call, that's going to have a real conversation. Like, that is just so powerful in this online space where we all feel like a number. We feel like a transaction. If I go into Instagram, I've got all these sponsored posts. Like, I just feel like someone that everyone is trying to sell to. Like, we're all just on there trying to sell to each other. And like, yes, it's an amazing time to be alive. Like, I can be in my sweatpants and work at home and make money, and that is amazing. And we do feel like everything is a transaction. We feel like we're a number. We feel like if someone starts following me, I see it like 5 miles away. Someone starts following me, commenting on my stuff, and then it's like, yep, there they are in the DMs. Like, how long have you been a business coach? Like, bullshit. Like, I can read through that. So be willing to just be like, no one owes me shit. I am here for a real conversation and building and nurturing relationships. So that's all I got. Again, I'm going to drop the link below for my free 6-figure switch training. You want to grab it. It's got everything you need. The emails come straight to your inbox. You get the playbook, you get the live stream. And this is really me talking about like how I pivoted from $79K a year being just maxed out as a bookkeeper to pivoting to $239K a year as a one-to-one coach. We still have the bookkeeping stream alive and well. I love that. I love those clients. But really, like, obviously my main offer is the one-to-one coaching, and seeing that just grow and be something that like you can do the same. If you're charging $35 an hour or whatever your hourly rate is, you might even be like apologizing for it. Like, one of my clients that I'm starting with this month, like, she's apologizing for her rates, and like her rates aren't that high. And it's just like, if we find ourselves in that position or we're discounting, like, I read a stat the other day that was like, like half of women discount their services without even being asked. And it's just like these crazy numbers. So like, I really want to be here and be an example and give you this training so that you can see what's possible. And then also the pivotal shifts that go with it. I think there's maybe like 4 pivotal shifts that I put in there. And then there's journaling, because like, obviously I want you to make this your own. This is not like Jordan built a business like this, so here's how you have to do it. It's literally like, this is the framework, these are the shifts, and then journaling prompts under each of them so that you can make it yours, because that's really what's going to make it stick. So can't wait for y'all to get your hands on that. Let me know how it goes. And I'll be back next week at noon, and it's going to post, and it's going to be great. So I will see y'all in the meantime, and post in the group. I know we just need a few brave souls to start posting regularly. It's like, I'm the first person on the dance floor. I'm totally fine being the one out there, and then everybody else comes to the dance floor, like that me. But y'all go ahead and post in the group, share your services. I can't wait to learn more about y'all and what you offer, and I'll see you next week. Bye.